This time on Roadkill Garage, nitrous on the crew cab Chevelle ends like this. Let's go.
Victory turns to disaster.
Roadkill Garage. It's like a buffet of half-finished cars. We have a whole field full of stuff, so what are we gonna do? Start a new project with the 66 Crew Cab Chevelle. The last time you saw this car, we were putting a big block 455 Buick in it, and this time we're gonna try and actually make it fast. Steve already threw on an intake manifold, a camshaft, headers, and now we're gonna nitrous this thing big time. That's gonna be the point of the episode, showing you how much nitrous you can put through what is essentially a stock long block, and then we're gonna take it to the drag strip and run it naturally aspirated and on the bottle, and hopefully it'll have 8 pistons left when we're done. Steve assigned me to do the fun stuff, the nitrous, which is really gonna be 3 parts. It's gonna be the nitrous, and the fuel system, and the ignition. The system that we got here is a competition cheater, adjustable from a power increase of 150 horsepower all the way to 250 horsepower. Okay, what is this? Instructions. We don't need no stinking instructions. All right, let's make this happen. I'm gonna start with the basics. I'm gonna tell you what the nitrous system does and how it makes power. The one that we're using here is the most rudimentary type, which is the plate system that goes underneath the carburetor. It has 2 spray bars in it. And if you look really carefully at the holes in here, you can see that the top bar is spraying down like this, and that is nitrous. And the bottom bar is spraying this direction, and that's fuel. So the fuel's only coming out at 6 PSI, whereas the nitrous is coming out at like 900 PSI. And so it intersects with that fuel to bring it all down into the intake manifold and of course into the combustion chambers. So how does nitrous make power? 2 ways. First of all, nitrous is stored in the bottle as a liquid. When it discharges, it boils or turns to a vapor at minus 127 to 131 degrees. I forget which it is. It's basically 130 degrees negative. The other thing that it's doing is bringing all those nitrous molecules into the chamber. A nitrous molecule is 2 nitrogens and 1 oxygen. When it's subjected to heat from compression, it breaks apart and you get a bunch of free oxygen in the chamber. Now what's important about that is not that the oxygen itself makes power, but that you can now burn more fuel. Think of what you learned in chemistry class about what makes burning. You gotta have oxygen, you've gotta have fuel, and you've gotta have heat. So it's bringing more oxygen in so that you can burn more fuel, and that's what makes more power. Right now, we're gonna show you the basics of just installing the plate. You don't wanna put it on upside down. The next thing that I'm gonna do is mount these solenoids, which are like electric switches or gates, where we've got the nitrous that goes in here and it's normally closed until I hit it with energy and then it opens up, and I'm gonna plumb it right here into the plate. Nitrous in the back, fuel in the front, and then I'll show you that there's little jets here that are required for tuning. I'm putting the jets in right now that determine the horsepower increase of the kit. I'm gonna put in a 63 fuel and a 63 nitrous, which is theoretically 150 horsepower gain. This is a Brawler 850. We've been using these a lot lately because they're so much cheaper than other carburetors and they're really good. That should work. Next up, I'm gonna run the hose back to the nitrous bottle in the trunk, which I will also have to install.
What I want to do here on the fuel system is make a really nice hard line from the fuel pump to the carburetor. On the Buick, it's a particularly convoluted path, so this time I used a little piece of wire and got a pretty good idea of exactly what bends I would need. Now all I have to do is walk right over to my tubing bender and make this look like that. All right, I made my hard line and it's really close to my template. Now the question is whether my template was correct or not.
It just needs to go right into position and then, okay,
That looks like a pretty good fit.
I got the bottle mounted, I've got everything plumbed, solenoids are mounted, everything's ready to go. I'm gonna go on electrical system for the Nitrous deal. We got battery over here with ground, we have Nitrous solenoid and fuel solenoid. Each solenoid has 2 wires coming out of it. One of them's power, one of them's ground. Doesn't matter which is which. So I connect 2 of these wires together and put them to ground right here. And I put them together to the same ground so that if you have a problem and it loosens up and you lose ground, it kills both solenoids. If you put each one separately to ground and one of them loses power and that one of them is fuel, then you have nothing but nitrous and things can go really bad. So now you've got the power side of each one, which again, you can tie together, and it's got to go to the battery. So this is the positive side of the battery. So here I go with power. What am I going to do in between battery power and the solenoids? Well, a couple of things. First of all, there's going to be a master switch right here, so that when you're just driving around, you can't accidentally hit the button. So this turns the whole system on and off. Now, the next thing you can do is put in the carburetor a throttle switch so that it can only be activated at wide open throttle. So that's often a micro switch that will come with a Nitrous kit. We're not gonna do that. Instead, this switch right here is going to be a momentary button, the old blue button. Now, there's another thing that people do between here and here for safety. You can put a fuel pressure sensor right here. And what that does is if you don't have enough fuel pressure going into the fuel inlet of the Nitrous solenoid, it won't allow the circuit to be complete and won't fire the solenoids. And once again, that's for safety so that if you have no fuel pressure, then that won't work. And the other thing that I will tend to do is wire my electric fuel pump so that the whole system cannot be armed without the fuel pump running. So I will pick up power for the fuel pump right here so that when the master switch is on, the fuel pump is running and the Nitrous is armed. Fuel pressure switch, you think we're gonna do that? Nah, that wouldn't be roadkill. So all we're gonna have is master switch, momentary switch, and then powering the electric fuel pump off that same master switch. Ready? Let's hook it up. Now I'm moving on to the fuel system. There's 2 things that you can do. You can take your stock mechanical fuel pump and tee off of it and feed both your carburetor and your fuel solenoid, but there's downsides to that. For example, if you're making a whole lot of horsepower, you might not get enough fuel flow for that. The big thing though is that you can't control the fuel pressure to the Nitrous plate individually, and that's something that I use for tuning quite a bit. And so for that reason, I am going to install a standalone fuel system. I'm going to use a Holley blue electric fuel pump. I've got the little regulator here. It's just a deadhead system, meaning no return line. The other thing that's cool about this is it means that I can put race gas in this so that I'm injecting race gas on the Nitrous and not just the pump gas that's in the tank. So we'll be driving around on the mechanical pump, Nitrous on the fuel pump. I just have to mount this thing here and then run a hose up front.
I've just about got everything sewn up front and it's looking really good. I've got my coil mounted, I've got my accessories in. The last crowning touch here is gonna be installing the radiator. Best of all, I know it fits already because it came out of the car.
Fuel cell foam is actually pretty important. It keeps the fuel from aerating and sloshing around in there. So I'm gonna cram some in here, but the foam when it's new can often give off chunks and there can be pieces of aluminum in the cell and stuff. So I also ordered some AN fittings in order to put in that Aeromotive fuel filter to protect the pump and the solenoid. Cool. 2 of those foam cubes fit that perfectly.
Well, it turned out our power steering pump leaked. After all that trouble putting it in, this is the old one and there's a couple of things you can do. You can get a new seal kit. It's under 10 bucks, but it's a little bit of a hassle to put it in. And also, if the can itself is dented up and rusty and stuff, that's not gonna help you. This one I think was leaking out of the can, so the better option here was just to get a new unit. It was like around 30 bucks, and to me that's worth it. What you need to do is transfer the pulley from the old pump onto the new one, because there's all kinds of different offsets and diameters on pulleys. But luckily, it's not pressed on. All you need to do is take the nut off and it'll pull right off. Sometimes it'll take a little tap. And you'll also have to take the brackets off, and that's usually just a couple of bolts. The other nice thing about the new pump is back here, that looks like just a fitting, but that's also the pressure regulator assembly. So that's already installed. I can have the bracket swapped out and this thing reinstalled in the car in about 10 minutes.
I've got all the mechanical work done on the fuel system. I haven't wired it yet because I'm procrastinating on that, hoping that Dulcich will just take over at some point. So now I'm gonna move on to what I promised you would be the third segment of the show, which is addressing the ignition system for nitrous oxide. What this revolves around is the fact that you want to retard your timing when you're on nitrous. See, the mixture of nitrous and fuel going into the engine causes much more abrupt combustion, and it peaks the cylinder pressure much sooner than it will naturally aspirated. For that reason, you want to start combustion later so you don't hit peak cylinder pressure while the piston is still moving up the cylinder when you're on nitrous. Now, the best way to do that is with an ignition box that senses when you're on the nitrous and retards the timing. Unfortunately, I bought one that doesn't do that. It only has start retard. I can't use it for nitrous retard. So what we did is we're just going to go in and retard the timing at the distributor. The downside of that is if you take 6 degrees out of your total timing, you're also taking 6 degrees out of your initial timing. So we might end up with like 10 degrees total at idle, and the thing might not want to launch really good. So it's the butch way to do things, but it's our way to do things. We have no choice because we're out of time. We got to race this thing in, I don't know, like tomorrow-ish.
So one of the safety concerns we've got having the nitrous fuel cell in the trunk is putting a firewall between the trunk and the passenger compartment. I've got this aluminum plate. It's just flat 1/16 and should be pretty easy to fit in here. That's a relatively flat area. I'm gonna have to cut the hooks out that normally hold the seat back in and make a few modifications like that. I'll use sheet metal screws, bang that in, and should be ready to go in no time flat.
I guess I'm finally gonna do the thing I've been procrastinating on all day long, which is the fuel pump wiring, and then I think we're done. Dulcich is finishing up that firewall, so we're NHRA legal, if you believe that. And next time we see you, we'll be at the drag strip, ready to make this thing run. And I really hope we don't blow it up. I know that's what you're hoping for, but not me. I just want to go fast. So we made it. Actually got this thing running. We're at Auto Club Famoso Raceway here near Bakersfield, California. And the plan is run this thing naturally aspirated, make it go as quick as it possibly can. Steve's setting up right now to do a timing adjustment on it because we know it's got too much in it. And then after it gets a good NA run, we'll start fiddling around with the nitrous. Okay, fire.
Ignition on and cranking.
$36. How hot is it now?
180. No shroud.
Yep. Well, this is it. I'm about to make my very first pass. We've got the thing as tuned up as it's going to be for now. The thing that's really going to hurt me here is those 308 rear gears. It's got a 27-inch tall rear tire, so I think it's going to be real sluggish, but hopefully it'll actually hook up. And with the Buick, theoretically, they've got tons of low-end torque. And so I should be able to run the thing down the track with that 3.0 and be okay. I'm going to shift at 5,500 to start with. Looks like Dulcich just remembered to put gas in it. Okay, here we go, first pass.
Burnout looked pretty good. Here we go, we're staging. 1341, that's not bad for right off the trailer. 1341, it launched pretty hard. The engine was smoking a little bit, but I think it's a little too rich, honestly. That's not a bad first run.
1341 at 99?
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Check it out.
Yeah.
The 60 was okay too. It was 1.8, but I think you could probably launch it a little harder.
I could. A 1.82 60-foot time, 8th mile, 8:49 at 80 miles an hour. Quarter mile, 13:41 at 99. For the very first pass, that's deep into the 13s.
So the engine's running way better than we expected, but we're running 99.5 miles an hour. I want to see the 3-digit top end. I want 100 miles an hour in the quarter. I'm gonna put a few degrees of timing in it to see if that helps. And meanwhile, the engine does have to sit here and cool off a little bit. Wow, it went to 43.
Told you.
This is our second pass. The engine is really too hot, but we just want to get another pass down the quarter mile and see if we can crack 100 miles an hour. It's really close. Come on, Freiburger. Come on, Buick Chevelle. Let's do it.
Too hot, it slowed way down. It hated whatever timing you put in it.
Really?
Yeah, it's running terrible. And well, it's also 230 degrees.
Yeah,
it's
it was way too hot.
We're not going to be able to optimize this thing naturally aspirated. We're going to have to go right to the nitrous because we don't have enough track time to cool it down between every round and make it run good.
It's way faster NA than we thought it was going to be anyway.
It is. I was hoping for 1380. It went 1340. I'm fairly confident I can nitrous it into the very, very high 11s, but I don't want to hit it with nitrous at 230 degrees of engine temp. That fan and no shroud is just killing us. Step one that we're going to do here is put in different spark plugs. When you're running nitrous, you really want a colder plug. And remember, colder doesn't have anything to do with the spark that it makes. It has to do with the distance of the path of the temperature from the tip of the spark plug to the water jacket inside the engines. This is an NGK Racing 10, which is what I usually run on nitrous with these things. Cold spark plugs are installed. Next thing we're gonna do is flush out our nitrous fuel system. So this is that auxiliary fuel system that is only feeding the fuel solenoid in the nitrous system, and we're gonna fill it up with some 110 octane actual leaded race fuel.
How come I get so happy about the leaded race gas?
I know, because anything poisonous is like the best. And we're gonna flush the lines, both the one to the regulator, then I'll hook that up and do the one from the regulator to the solenoid. Oh, it already puked out some rubber. That would have gone into the fuel solenoid and probably plugged it up and made stuff explode. Okay, hit it. Looks really good. Okay, perfect. Really happy we did that. Next thing we're gonna do is also purge the nitrous line, which is right here. We're just gonna do a quick shot of nitrous through it to make sure that it's got no contamination. There's also a nitrous filter inside that fitting right there. But remember that nitrous discharges at negative 130 Fahrenheit. And so that's why I'm holding it with the pliers, and I'm not gonna get my skin anywhere near the front of that. Okay, Steve, ready when you are? There you go. That's good.
Okay.
The next super critical thing that we're gonna do is set the nitrous system fuel pressure. As another reminder, this fuel system is only feeding the fuel solenoid for the nitrous system. And NOS wants to see 6 PSI of fuel pressure while the system is engaged. If you set the fuel pressure just deadheaded, meaning if you just have the solenoid closed and the fuel is stacking up right here and you set the pressure at 6, then when you open that solenoid going down the track, the fuel pressure is gonna drop, the engine leans out. So this is an Edelbrock flow tool. What I've got is the actual jet right there that came out of my nitrous system, and I'm gonna put it here, and that is gonna create a restriction that mimics what's going on when the system is functioning so that I can set the fuel pressure flowing. Okay, Steve, go ahead, fire it up. off. I just tested our nitrous fuel pressure with it flowing and found it to be only 3 pounds, which isn't enough. We need 6. Okay, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Can you please turn it on and I will adjust it dynamically.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Thank you. All right, cranking the fuel pressure up to 6. Perfect. And rock steady. All right, you can shut it off.
A critical aspect when you're running nitrous is to adjust the ignition timing. What the nitrous is going to do is it's going to accelerate the combustion. Therefore, you're going to get peak cylinder pressure earlier. So early, in fact, that you're going to lose power and can cause destructive detonation inside the cylinder. So we're going to take this back to about 30 degrees for a 150 shot. I mean, basically the rule of thumb is 2 degrees per 50 horsepower hit of nitrous. So it's about 6 degrees for the 150 shot.
Finally, the last step before we can spray this thing, and this is the part of nitrous I find the most irritating, and that is maintaining the nitrous bottle pressure, which we often do with temperature. You will read online all sorts of different temperature numbers and how they correlate to PSI. I've read everything from 85 to 100. Our number is 93. Right now I've got 97 on the temp gun, and so I'm taking a ice cold rag out of the cooler, and I've been cooling the thing down, because if you have too much nitrous bottle pressure, it will spray more nitrous in relationship to fuel, and once again, you will be running lean. So we got to cool that down just a little bit, and then finally we're going to be out on track. And this thing better run 1199 on its very first pass, because we're running out of time. We're about to lose our track rental.
I'm feeling really good about this.
Oh, I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be our moment of triumph and victory.
Woohoo!
And greatness.
1190. I'm going to fire the car up, and then Steve will open the nitrous bottle. And the reason why we open the nitrous bottle with the engine running is so we can check to see if the nitrous solenoid is leaking. Because if it is, when the nitrous starts to hit, we'll hear the RPM start to increase, and I can get the thing shut off and make sure to pump all of the nitrous out of it. Okay, finally. Looking forward to this.
Okay, this is going to be it. It's going to be our first run on nitrous. It's a 150 horsepower shot. Freiberger is pulling the car up right now to stage, and we'll see what it'll do. Wow. It sounds like it's trucking pretty good. 12:03. Wow! We're 300ths away from an 11-second pass. Wow, that is hauling the mail.
That was much faster. Spun him off the line, but ran pretty good. I got the nitrous system shut off now. Once again, 200 degrees, kind of hot. Oh, that was good. Oh, 12:03. I can't even believe that. Not 11:98, 12:03. Oh man, is that annoying?
Dude!
12:03, right?
Man, check that out. 1.701 out of the hole.
Man,
wow.
12:03 at 111. 300ths of a second short of the 11s. So obviously we're gonna have to do that again, but the thing is all hot right now, so we're not gonna be able to. That's a win though. 1341 in the naturally aspirated trim. First pass on the bottle, 12:03 on a 150 shot.
That is so close to an 11 handle, man. We've got to punch through.
Even if we blow it up on the next run, I think that was just a pretty good win.
I think the Buick's indestructible.
We have bigger jets.
Yeah. You want it?
We can do that. I mean, it's gonna have to cool down. Whew! I'll be in my trailer. Make it happen, Dolchek.
Right. I'm on it. We're going to step up the jetting a little bit, another 50 horsepower of nitrous. I'm pretty sure that extra 50 horsepower will take us down the track in the 11s, or I don't want to think about the alternative. It's not going to break.
Okay, this is going to be my last chance of the day. We're out of time. I've got 14 PSI in the tires instead of 15. And we've changed the jet from a 150 shot to to a 180. So this is gonna be my last opportunity to try and make this turd go 11s. Here we go. I don't think that worked. Did not feel good. I don't know what happened there. Oh, it died. Not running good. Oh, it's seized. Think we just blew it up.
Something went wrong with our Buick. I mean, it took off like a freaking rocket out of the hole. Best 60 foot ever. It was really good up to half track. But right at the top end, we were running like 115 miles an hour. Actually, we would have been closing in at 118 or so, and it dropped down to 104, and that's what we ran, like naturally aspirated. So something broke, something got screwed up, something's amiss. I don't know what it is.
I think the motor might be seized. Ready? So yeah, our Buick 455 is no more. And you may think that we blew it up on nitrous, but we went home and investigated and looked at all the plugs and everything, and it was not the nitrous tune-up that killed it. Everything was fine. Pistons survived. Unfortunately, it was the notoriously bad Buick oiling system that failed us, and we spun a bearing. Even so, we proved that you can knock almost a second and a half off your ET with a basic nitrous kit, and you can usually even do it safely on a $150 junkyard engine like ours. That's roadkill power you can count on. What will happen next on Roadkill Garage? Keep watching to find out. Do you notice I walked in here and just immediately was put in like just a slightly edgy mood? Don't you agree the mustache has to go? It's still making me angry, even after spending a whole week with you on that Nebraska
Back on
trip.
the mustache again. The mustache, every single time, man. You're just nagging me. Okay.